All right. So, here we are. Currently, you guys are in the area of Idmar, known as Indar. See what I did there?
Ooh,
You are
okay.
right here in Kendallholm. This whole region in between the Dakart Desert and Independence Pass is a place of independence, basically, for any of the nobles there. Kendallholm has its own lord, so does Baywatch, so does Titus Hearth. Technically, they're all barons. None of them are counts because they don't hold a county. They only hold their barony, which there are clear borders on, but they're not drawn here between like Baywatch and Kendallholm and who owns what village and what line of trees. Right.
Can you plus where we're set, where we actually are?
Yes, you are in Kendallholm. You are in this town, a walled town, a walled port town. So yeah, and now I can get to that actually. This beautiful town of Kendallholm is home to about 6,000 men and a few families of half orcs. There are some travelers that aren't of that. Oh my god, the vape. Do not. Okay, we hear a large vape as the intro occurs. Um, there are mixed races that travel through here from time to time, but there's no real families that aren't either half orcs or humans that make a permanent residence in town, at least. There are some out of towners that are like half elves, elves, that sort, dwarves. Um, there is one wizard in this town. He's the court wizard to the count, or sorry, not count, Baron Odin Copperwood. And the wizard is Magi Victus. Um, there's a couple of taverns. Other than that, it's mostly just a trade town. Any trade coming into the Indar Plains from the north or the west usually comes to Kendallholm. Being in that position, it is rather wealthy, as my cat steals dice from me. So, we find ourselves in this town. You all, I assume, are looking for adventure, correct? And excitement and glory, or maybe you're looking for some long lost heirloom of your family. Either
Or for
way,
immortality.
you all need money, right?
I'm looking for some greenskins to kill.
But you all need money, right?
Wow. Okay.
It sounded somewhat racist. What's a green skin?
So,
Goblin?
because you need money, you all have found yourselves drawn towards a job listed in the taverns around town. Whichever tavern you may have been staying in, rich or poor, you've noticed that Dom, which is a term for knight in this region, Dom, would be the equivalent of Sir. Dom Kloss Dowager of the Order of the Cycle, which is a local order dedicated to the goddess or essence Lothara, is recruiting adventurers to go rid a abandoned temple of its residents that have taken up there. Apparently, they could be cultists of some kind, maybe undead. He's not specifically sure, but he does know there are people loitering in this holy place where they should not be. So he's going to recruit you guys, and I think we'll start off with the three of you awkwardly bumping into each other as you go to apply for the same job at this place marked temple right here. Okay, so what do we see as the three of you bump into each other as you walk into this large temple with big stone columns leading to a center altar with all the essences which are put in the pantheon I have listed in the handouts um, in the main altar of the temple. What do you guys look like? Who wants to go first? We could go for Dagon and then uh, Tom and then Nahom.
Okay.
Yeah, I can go first.
Let's do it.
It's Dagnan.
Dagnan.
Dagnan Greenhewer. He's just a regular old mountain dwarf from Mount Independence, King Volmer's hold, who he's got a ruddy complexion, dark brown hair with tinges of red, average height dwarf of average age as well, still pretty young. And he's got pretty much just furs because he lives out in the mountains and hills usually, with his trusty battle axe and warhammer. There's not much else to him.
Okay. Next, we go to our upside down companion, Archibald of something, or of some kind.
So my name is Archibald Emmanuel Lafleur, but you know,
Oh my
y'all
God.
can call me Archie because we're friends.
We're friends already?
You could be. It's up to you guys.
Well, see, that's my given name that my dad gave me, and he's kind of a prick. Like he's all, oh, I'm a important businessman. I see. So he kind of
Not
looks like
quite that guy.
he kind of looks like a Chad. He's tall, slender, nice flowing brown hair. Wears a fancy like hat with all that.
He has a bad mic.
His voice just goes robotic from time to time.
his face panel pops open. It's a fucking robot.
Oh God.
Archibald 9000.
Archibald 9000.
Yo, 3,000, my dude.
Tom, you still with us? Do we send it to Nahom? Well, okay, yes.
All right, it's my turn. You don't really see me at first. All you hear is squawing. You see like a lanky, he's a lanky, pretty tall dude. Just very pale skin, white hair. He looks young but aged at the same time. Like he's been awake for a couple days. Oh, nothing like this, by the way. Bags under his eyes. You see him. You see this guy. He doesn't have any. He just has this weird red quarter staff. He's also carrying a box of pigeons on his backpack.
He really likes pigeons, huh?
Mm-hmm. Well, they're like one copper piece. So
What are you here for? What is your story? What is your goals? What are you here for?
My goal is to become a great wizard and someday discover the secret to immortality.
I thought you wanted to make a mountain.
Well, it's part of it. See, that's part of the great wizard part.
Okay.
No. Okay,
I
my
like
10th level spells are secret at this moment. Okay, so keep that hush hush.
Let's go back to Archibald then.
Archibald, rewind.
Okay, Archibald, where did you leave off?
Back.
I'm sorry. What did you say? Oh yeah, he looks like a douchebag.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like, I'm done.
But no, his goal is to become the greatest swordsman with a rapier that has ever lived, and to prove his dad that he's not a failure at life.
Oh my god.
Yes, he wants to be the master of the rapier. So we'll you all see each other as you bump into the entrance to this temple. As you peer inside, you see many pews and various worshippers scattered throughout, praying silently in the pews. Towards the front of the temple, you see a man in armor also praying towards what looks to be the altar of Belthara, the goddess of life. Lothara, the goddess of life. He looks to be of blonde hair, looks around 35-ish. His hair's pretty short. Got some color eyes. He's pointed away from you, praying currently. But he looks pretty massive. And if you are from here, you'd recognize him as Dom Klaus Dowager, the man who is looking to hire some adventurers. Does anyone approach?
Jordan's all nervous.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, well, I'm trying to think of what I would say to this guy. If I approach
Someone's gonna punch me. I'll die if someone punches me.
He'll die if someone sneezes.
He does. He is armed with a mace. That matters.
How is it? Is it just regular old mace or is it real?
Footman's mace, just regular old footman's mace.
See, Archie's the chat of the group. He should go talk first. If anything, I'm being so.
Couple of patrons. Oh my god. A couple of patrons push past the group of you.
Okay.
Kind of upset that you're blocking the doorway.
Well, I walk in with the new patrons. I'm part of a new group now.
Okay, they kind of shuffle off
I
to
guess that-
an altar as you walk down the pathway towards the center. Not an altar. They kind of like shuffle into a pew as you walk down towards the altars. And you're left walking, just the three of you, I assume?
I guess so.
Yeah, I'll get out of the doorway, shuffle my feet, just kind of stay more towards the back, the shadows if I can.
All right, you shuffle out of the doorway into the shadows, and a couple of people. Let's roll a perception. Are you hiding in shadows? Do you have that
You
ability?
know, yeah, I actually do. Because
Okay.
I am a justifier.
You
a
get-
ranger.
Give me a check to see if you can hide in the shadows from the worshippers and perhaps the quest giver himself.
Let's see if this macro works. I think I tested it.
Let's see it.
Okay, it's not working. So I'll just roll a D100. Oh wait, no, here it is. Oh,
Is
Not
that
good.
that looks like a failure? No, you don't hide in shadows, and a couple of
it's not-
people
I'm not very-
awkwardly.
It's not very good.
Probably even the party itself kind of like awkwardly look at you as you try and blend into the background of this.
I just stroke my beard, kind of look at the floor, kind of embarrassed that everyone can see me.
Yeah, you guys watch the dwarf kind of like slink behind you awkwardly and like step on a rug and like it makes a loud as it rubs against the side of a stone. And it's just like, it's really, what is that guy doing?
Just grumble.
So upon this, Dom Klaus looks up from his prayers and goes, "Who enters the temple with weapons? In tow."
Oh wait, since we all walked in, does that mean we all?
Yeah,
I mean,
what's
you're
that
holding
stuff?
you're holding like an iron quarterstaff, right?
It's on like my like
It's
back.
it's a quarterstaff. It's visible.
Yeah.
I think me. I didn't know we're supposed to leave him at the door or something. Like.
He sees the man with axes, I believe.
I've got a battle axe and a war hammer.
And then what do you have, Archibald? Rapiers and like any other
I have a light
various
crossbow on
weapons?
my back too, actually.
Yeah.
And actually, I have a spear as well. I forgot about that one.
I would just go to your phone, Tom.
Yeah, we came here for a quest. Like, so I assumed, I assumed these would be needed later on.
I would switch to your phone, Tom, for sure. Your phone was better. Yeah, you guys are.
So he addressed us, right?
And you said I'm here for a quest.
Yes.
Mr. What is your name? Miles Miller.
Yes.
You
So
Mill.
he spoke up, so I don't say anything yet. This dwarf's shy.
Yes, I am looking to hire some adventurers to clear out the local temple in the plains to the south. Do you happen to be interested in doing such a thing, then, I assume?
Yeah, I overheard those two back there. I point out the dwarf who's failing to hide, and the guy who's got a sword just in the background.
Yeah,
Well, I didn't know we weren't supposed to bring weapons in here.
Tom is having technical difficulties. All right, Tom.
We're waiting for him.
Wait for him.
Do we wait for him? Is that the consensus?
Let's wait. Hey, Zach, roll D100 for me.
We wait for Tom.